Well, here we are in the legislature, and there was lots of fireworks here today after the Independent Financial Accountability Officer came out with a report that said Doug Ford and his government scrapping the cap and trade is costing all Ontarians big money.
Good morning. Welcome.
The Independent Financial Accountability Officer out with a detailed report. It found the cancellation of cap and trade will cost the province $3 billion over the next 4 years and will cost the average household more than $300 annually. The reason is because a third of revenue raised from cap and trade went back into households via initiatives like the Green Energy Program.
We were quite clear from the beginning. This was a tax that was bad for Ontarians. We were going to cut that tax. That's why we got rid of cap and trade. And it's $264 back in the pockets of Ontario families.
Minister, the FAO was very clear. It's going to cost the province $3 billion, and taxpayers are going to have to pay for that.
Actually, he wasn't clear about that. What he was clear about was that there were $3 billion less of revenue coming from taxpayers to the government of Ontario because we killed a regressive tax that was hurting middle and low-income families.
$3 billion hole in the deficit, though, is what they said in the budget.
Well, you'll see more about how we're going to be handling that when we come up with the fall economic statement later this year. But I can tell you we make no apologies for putting money back in the pockets of the people of Ontario.
Does that mean the $3 billion cost of scrapping cap and trade will be made up for in cuts? Yes, says the Green Party leader.
Here's the bottom line. There's only two ways you're going to make up that kind of fiscal hole. You either raise taxes or you cut spending. So if they cut spending, that's going to have real effects on everyday people. That's less money for healthcare, teachers, hospitals, education, many transit, many of the services people depend on. So they're either going to take the money out of your pocket by raising taxes, or they're going to take the money out of your pocket by cutting services.
Lost here may be the environment itself. A recent UN report found the world has just 12 years to act in order to avoid a climate disaster.
Cap and trade was a pretty good system. It wasn't perfect, but it was going to drive us towards Ontario's greenhouse gas emissions reduction targets, which were pretty good targets. Now we have no plan, we have no targets, we have a promise of a plan.
The Environment Minister says the government's climate change plan is coming at some point in the next month or two. What do you think of the UN report? Did you read that?
Yeah, so it's 700 pages. So I have to say we got a summary of it.
That's pretty disturbing, isn't it?
I think it adds to the body of information around climate change overall.
Now, the federal government is set to impose a carbon tax on Ontario come the new year, although the Ford government planning to fight that in court. If it does go into place, the report today found it could cost the average Ontario household some $250 a year. At Queen's Park, Richard Southern City News.